We should be live in 2 seconds. Boom! You are live. That's what it says. So, greetings, PT. An honor again
Yes,
to be with you for this few moments we're going to pass together again today, talking about etymology of
yes,
languages.
yes,
Today, I would like to put the focus on the numbers and letters because,
right.
of course, we are programmed with the grammar, but the grammar also there's the numbers. Also, the numbers can create, can be coded into so many stuff. Like just for example, if you take AA, just the AA, Alcoholic Anonymous, double A batteries, and it's the
Yes,
11. It represents 11 also. So
yes,
yeah, the two
yes,
pillar or something. So maybe you can
yes.
extend and tell us more. I'm sure
Okay,
you can probably
okay.
extend more than me on the topic. I have a little idea, but I'll let you
Yes,
formulate.
I mean the thing is, numbers are like the fabric of the universe. Like their numbers are part of the fabric of the universe. So
Fabric, yeah.
we have the fabric of the universe. So numbers, just like letters and words, are one part, and numbers are another part. So I mean the thing is that numbers have certain energies. All numbers have certain energies. Like number one, certain energy. Number two has a slightly different. Number three, number four. All numbers have different energies. Now, there's a thing called branch called numerology, which deals with these energies. Okay, which is related to astrology. Okay, which is related to the stars, which is related to things happening on Earth. So, so everyone, like even if you're born on a certain day of the month, then there is a number, and you have, like, the beings have characteristics of those numbers. Okay, so it's a science. Numbers is basically actually science of understanding the energy of numbers, just like understanding the energy of alphabets. Now, where they meet is, like, for example, number A, the number one for letter A, you said. So because A is the first letter, you know and the sound is the first sound in Sanskrit also. Okay, so so A, like the first alpha, is the one. Okay, so, and when you have two A's, you have two ones. That makes 11, but 11 is the number of Aquarius sign, the astrological sign Aquarius. So it carries energy of that, or the 11th house in astrology. Okay, so 11th house sign Aquarius, number 11, groups, all these things, come under number 11. You know, Again, any kind of group is there. People getting together. You know, that's why that number 11 comes. That's why in football there are 11 people on each team. Okay, okay, right? Because it shows a team, it shows a group. Like whenever the group work or any kind of team to do something, accomplish something, like people work together, right for anything, and maybe build a house or do anything. Okay, you know, so that is comes under the thing of number 11. So it's considered lucky, for achieving things in group work. So all these companies would surely like to use number 11, right? For themselves. I
Yeah.
mean, it just makes sense, like, that you would like to use that energy of that thing for that, like Jim says. So, uh, I mean, these are actual, real things, secrets in a way, which some people know of and others don't on this earth. Okay, so it comes down to that basically. So when people on the ground level are saying, like, why is this number repeating all the time? Why is this? Why am I seeing this again and again and again and again in these things? Because for them it's deliberately, because they're trying to achieve something. That's why you are seeing that repeated more and more. So, and the same, what happened with the 1111. You heard about people started seeing 1111. They didn't, on the clock.
Yeah.
Okay, they didn't know what that meant. Okay, what is this? Why am I saying 1111? Because then it had to do with the energies of the age of Aquarius, which are coming into play now quite a lot strongly. So there was a mass signal of that energy of number 11. going going there on the whole earth as a whole. So these are the ways to actually understand how the universe functions. You know, so nothing is random in the universe. Okay, if you have a house right now, okay, you have a number of that house. So why did you get
Yeah.
that number or not some other number house? Okay, that's got something to do with you, what
Yeah.
energy you're running right now. Okay, and that will tell you a whole lot about what can happen or cannot happen in this house. Okay, and so there is a whole lot of
I,
things to.
I
Yeah, yeah,
it's interesting what you're saying about the house number, because my house number is 40. And I was
yeah,
always like, why the number 40? But then I started to research and I saw all kinds of things associated with number 40. Maybe
yeah, yeah,
some
yeah,
stuff in the Bible,
yeah,
like
yeah,
even that word Bible, Bible, what?
yeah. By means two,
Anyway, it's
two
interesting
pillars,
word, but
two pillars, two pillars. And I mean, you'd see the two pillars in the tarot cards. You'd see the two pillars in, different cards, and which again signifies the number 11. You know, so so the bringing down the tower changes the destiny or the future. You know, like old gives way to new, and all of that concept, the regeneration, renewal, all of that comes under.
like
It's number 16
for
and the number
someone
11.
like me and many,
Yeah, yeah,
excuse me, PT, but for someone like me, and I'm sure many others, we're
yeah,
trying, like you say, to decode everything that's happening around us. And we
yeah,
have numbers, letters, all kinds of stuff reoccurring, coming back, and 1111 and stuff like that.
yeah.
Should we keep staying focused on trying to find signs in there, or we should just like at one point, because
I mean,
I
I
wonder if
don't think you can
at
find.
one point it cannot,
Yes.
because I tend to look at words backwards. I tend to associate numbers with letters and decode. Like, am I on the right path here, or I
I mean,
go
I
too
think all
extreme
of
with
those
this?
things are, I would consider them secondary and tertiary things. Okay, all of that.
Okay.
The thing is that first, if you don't know the basic meanings of basic numbers, or if you don't understand that, if you don't have that basic education, then going into those kind of things will create misunderstandings, paranoia, all kinds of that thing, confusion
Yeah.
will be created by going into that, because you don't even know the basic, very basic thing of what those energies mean. The energies have to be first learned at a very basic level and understood properly. Then when they become more complex, you can make more sense of it. you know so that's my view of, like, and a lot of people who are going into all of this, they don't know the basic number energies of anything. And then they just are seeing that these patterns are repeating, these numbers are repeating, then this is happening, and why, like, you know it is because those energies are at play, but you don't know what those energies are in the first place. you know and then some people will start showing that this is dark, or this is bad, or this 666 is bad, or 666 is bad, or something, like, these kind of myths get created when nothing is bad. There's no bad number, okay, in that way. So it's just
Yeah,
a
we
certain
tend
particular kind of
to.
energy. you know so it is just like how you
So
use
without
something.
the basic,
Yeah.
like you say, we tend to more associate fantasy stuff,
Yes, yes.
stuff we have heard, instead of something actually true.
True, not true, and
Actual
not
truth.
in the or not in the real light of it. Like, just
That's
thinking
it.
that there's something sinister going on, something bad going on, is somehow you are being manipulated into something and stuff like that. It's not like that. I mean, energy is energy. Everybody uses energy of that. Like, if someone stays in a certain number house, they are that thing by that energy. So it is happening to everybody. So it's not like it's going to show up everywhere, all of this thing. Even in movies, when people make movies, like certain room numbers come in a, like a hotel room number comes. I mean, director has not thought about this, why am I putting that number? but it just comes, it happens, because number will show its energy wherever it needs to show itself. You don't even have to plan it, design it, anything like that. You know, it will. But that's how the universe functions.
Oh,
It's like
okay.
a way where energy has to always show itself when it's doing something. All energies have to show themselves in some way or form. You know, so that's
I
numbers
happened
are
to
a,
watch the time 10:11 on the 11.
yes, yes,
Yeah, that's it. But you see, that's what I'm saying. You have to be in touch with that kind of energy and frequency to be able to make sense of it. Like, exactly,
yes.
you
I mean,
said
first, like, you have to have
Vedic and
basic
stuff.
clear. Yeah, like, and you have to understand that none of those
Okay,
numbers are evil or anything. There's good, evil. This kind of thing should not be applied to energies. It should be just energies, energy. You know, you can use it constructively or you can use it negatively. Any energy, like, you know. So
exact.
I mean,
And like you say, we see it often. I think we just can look in movies often to see a reference to like WW,
yeah,
M&M, because
yeah,
you take the WW, it's a 33, M&M, it's a 33,
yeah,
CC is a 33.
yeah.
So what's with the number 33 PT and all those letters associated with it?
Okay. I mean, the spinal column is 32, right? Like 32. Okay, so once you go through all the spinal column, like, is the kundalini going through all the spinal column and reaches the top, then that is 33. That's 33rd degree for the kundalini to
33
rise
birth.
back, to go through the spine, you know. So, like, that's what it meant originally, you know, but now it can be used anything. So, like, anybody can become a 33-degree grandmaster or in Freemasons or whatever without having any kundalini going to anything, or, like, you know. So right now it is just for namesake, you know, that thing. It's not real. It's nothing which is actually there, you know. So, and I mean, 33 is still the same multiples of 11s, like 11, 22, 33. You know, they are the same: 44, 55, 66. You know, which are basically different, let's say, energies of 11 working on 11 into 3 is 33, like, right, like, so. Yeah, so
Because nothing is random. Even the names that they choose, like I said, William Wallace, Walter White, all these names that they choose have a certain significance, especially with
yeah,
when you put numbers into it. So
yeah, and
yeah, I was
alphabets, like,
always
yeah, in alphabets, like in English alphabet, A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, and like that, like, it carries on till 9 and then it repeats again, you
yeah.
know. So that way, yeah, like, when you have a name, you add all the things up, you'll get a number. Okay, now that number will be associated with that name, that number energy. And so a lot of events which will happen in your life, that number will show itself more since you use that name. So that way, when people change their names, they try to change some patterns in their life, you know. So, but all that is problematic because you don't know what your birth chart is, whether if you change that name to that number, what energy, that energy might not be suitable for your that thing, what you're born with, how is it harmonizing with that. So it all requires a lot of knowledge, this kind of thing. It's not a joke which people have made it into, you know. So it is still lot of knowledge required to really play with energies, you know, in that kind of way. So a lot of the time people are harming themselves by just doing things randomly. You know, they say one important thing: little knowledge is a dangerous thing. Little
Yeah.
knowledge is a dangerous thing, and this is very much true in these kind of things. I mean, it applies totally to this sort of situation. You know, people dabble a little bit in it and they think they've gotten it. They know what it is, but it's not. There is more layers and more layers of learning and knowledge and that thing, understanding in this, which, yeah,
So
yeah,
we know movies and all this stuff is just
yeah,
distraction for the moguls. Honestly, we put
yeah.
the movie producers on pedestal. We give them trophies and we give trophies to artists that sings on stage. But all this is to distract the muggle world. We know
Yes,
that. So
Yes.
what's the purpose of bringing all those divine numbers and stuff into
I mean,
movies
because
when most people will not have a clue of what they're
yeah,
looking
but
at? Or
like that's where yeah, that's a good point, but I'll explain to you why. This is a like the thing is that um, in universe you cannot even distracting is a work, right? It's a
yeah,
job, right? It's a job.
oh, it's a job.
Yeah. Now,
Here, it's a full time job.
even to do that job, you need to know something, and you need to have used some energy to do it. Okay, even that requires some knowledge of
Yeah,
something and some energy has got to be used. It's not going to happen just like that. Okay, so then those people will use those energies in whatever way they can for their work, which is distraction. Okay, like, but I mean, still, it's not going to happen without energy and without knowledge, without understanding. It will not happen, even that way, you know. So there has to be, and then when this energy works on masses, and then that pulls them in, you know, and because they're vibrating and resonating with something which is actually real, that energy is real, but in that form. So the spell still works, if even if what you're using it
yeah.
for is not the pointed, you know so it still works, so that's the point there. That's the point to understand, so like, so beings who are involved with the highest levels of this know so much more than normal masses and others. That's the reality of the situation. So 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 that's, people
So
need to
that's
understand
why
that.
often we have little messages in movies and stuff about touching
Yes.
a little bit of the fabric of reality, but
Yeah.
they give you clues. Like
And
if you
clues
listen
which,
properly, you will catch it.
yeah, clues which they know that masses cannot decipher, because they don't have the basics or the knowledge. There's no education system in place on earth which can actually help anyone understand those things at that level. Okay. And then people will just go crazy and just speculate on it and waste their time even more, you know.
Yeah,
So that's, even if they try, like, because first you have to be given basic tools for anything, you know. Like if you have to build a house, you have to be given the bricks or some mud, something has to be given first, like,
and
wood or something, you know. So, like, so
can that also explain the fact that once you become more aware of all the secret stuff in the world and the occult stuff, you tend to
yeah,
detach from like watching movies? I barely watch movies anymore. Like I'm not
yeah,
really attracted to that kind of stuff anymore. Is that
yeah, and
because
yeah,
I'm able to?
yeah, and you might not have gotten caught in the game of trying to decipher. Like a lot of people who are trying caught in the game of trying to decipher. Okay,
Yeah,
they are trying very hard to decipher when they don't have the tools to decipher. You know, like,
right.
so then that creates more waste of time, right? Like, and if you understand that there's no point for me to go into that. I don't the tools for that or
Exactly.
understanding. So that is a better situation. Like that's what I call accepting reality first for what it is. So that's the most important thing, and you can work on yourself in so many other ways on a basic level first. Any being can do that rather than get confused and embroiled in all of that straight away. And I think because all of that requires education, and there should be an education system for that kind of thing, which people understand the universe they live in more properly, or on a better level in any kind of a way, like before any such thing is put in front of them, because all of these things are called secondary, tertiary, like kind of learnings, and it's not immediate sort of thing. And so that's what I would say. Like, so first people have to know that, yeah, ABCD means something. All of that has some energy. 1 2 3 means something that has some energy. Yeah, are those energies are connected? Yes, they're connected. They're connected to everything. They're connected to theology. They're connected to astrology. They're connected to numerology. They're connected to fabric universe. Everything is one big connection. But to know about it is another matter. To actually know about, yes,
To know about it is
yeah,
another matter.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But first, like just that realization that it is all tied in together is a good enough starting point. Like, being can be aware that it is there and it's there, and not to think that these things don't mean anything or this is just nonsense. It's not like that. Everything means something, you know, in
Yeah.
nature of creation. Like, so, yeah.
There's many different alphabets, but there's different ways also to write numbers, and
Yes,
just for example, the Roman numbers.
yes,
That's interesting because they use letters to to be numbers. So what is this exactly, PT? And there's seven of them. There's the IVXLCD, LCD,
yes,
and M. So
right.
what is this old code here? Because there's a code in here, but yeah, I haven't
Yeah,
really.
I
It's
mean,
today. I
uh,
was doing
if it
stuff
is,
on that.
yeah, like the thing is that when numbers and letters are there, you can connect them in many ways. Okay, depending on what you want to highlight. So if you're choosing I and V and different ones, to in the Roman numerals, then you are highlighting those particular letters more. So once you use that system, the energies of those things will become more prominent as a whole. In the people who use that Latin system and everything, which they have a very clear that we want this result, you know, like, so we will use this kind of thing. Just like if you are making a house, you say like, I want to use this kind of insulation because it gets very cold out here. I want this insulation so that I get warm. Okay, you might live in a warmer climate, and you say like, I want to use this kind of mud building which keeps it cooler inside. Okay, now you won't make the house the same way in a cold place and in a warm place, right? You'll use
Yeah,
different materials, different kind of
yeah,
things, and right, like this. Now these people decide, what do I want from this, what effect, and I'm going for this effect, and these particular ones will be useful, and these are not useful. So they're like materials. You leave this one material, you get this material, you know,
yeah.
and use it in the way you want it to have the desired effect which you want from that. So that's all deliberate. Okay, it is deliberate by the beings who understand the energies of those particular letters. That,
Letters and
so and the combination of those letters, and that's what mantra is in Sanskrit. It's combination of certain letters which become certain words, and then that becomes a mantra in Sanskrit. So we can say
yeah,
that is one mantric branch of, and that's why, like in the Roman, that thing, in the Latin thing, they have these, Gregorian chants, right? Like Gregorian chants, like
yeah,
those sounds which, now those sounds which they make in Gregorian chants and the energy they produce, you feel something like when they are chanting that, you know the energy they produce is similar to the energy of the letters they've chosen for the Roman numerals. So so that is a sonic form of the energy of, and then that creates a mood, isn't it? Like, in the cathedrals when they do that, with the big loud sound, and cathedrals increase the energy and the sound and volume and the power of that, and they make 100 people do it together, right? you know to amplify it. What does that do? It produces a certain effect. When you do that, you will create a certain energy wave on earth. Okay, now that energy wave will affect that whole area and everybody who lives there, and their mind will start functioning within that energy wave, even if they don't know it, and they don't have to take part in that choir, Gregorian choir or chant or anything, but it will still do that. Okay, So that's a play with energy. That's like a mantra being chanted out here to create a certain effect on earth, on the minds of people, on the whole functioning and everything. So land gauge is happening, mind gauge is happening, everything is happening at the same
Yeah.
time. So it's elaborate science. This is real technology, what I would call real tech, you know, from an advanced tech. So
Yeah,
it's
sound. Just to finish with that, sound is very powerful. You can levitate with sound, like bees levitate like that just by emitting a
yeah,
frequency or something with their wings.
yeah, yeah,
So people that manipulate the fabric of fantasy we live in, uh,
yeah,
they know that sound has a huge effect on us, and that's why
yes,
we go to concert
yeah, but
and
the
stuff.
sound, that
Sound has a
note,
huge effect.
notes, like notes also have numbers. Notes also have name, EADGDE. like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know
Music
so
also is interested to
you-
look at the music
notes,
part. Yeah,
numbers, letters are all, and each have certain frequency, right? Like frequency is a number. Like if it's 432 hertz or 440, what's the difference? 440 will be 8 and 432 will be 9,
yeah,
right? So 9 will obviously be different from 8. So the energy of a 440 hertz thing will be different from a 432 hertz thing, you know, and depends on what effect are you wanting to create. So the beings which are using things should know what they're trying to do. Whether it's negative or positive, that is a later matter. First, just the awareness what you're trying to achieve and what is what for what, you know. So that comes first, like that knowledge and understanding, and that is what the Vedic tradition was about, and the Vedic things in ancient times. That was knowledge. That's what was called knowledge, you know, which
yeah.
is completely not there in today's school system, right? Like this is nowhere to be seen at all. Like
Wish I
it's
had a
completely,
course on etymology back then.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
should be taught in school. All that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Etymology, numerology, sound factors, like what energies of sounds, energies of everything, all of this, you know, which are related to the stars, the constellations. Each constellation even has their own sound in the sky. There are 27 major constellations, and each one have their own 4 sounds. So the 108 sounds are there from the constellations even. So like we have, so that's where
Now,
we are going with. Yeah, yeah,
letters and numbers are symbols. Okay, they are
yeah.
crafted like so every sign and symbol in society has some kind of meaning, has a signification. It's not
Yes.
random,
No,
like
nothing is
the
done.
shell logo or all logo you see everywhere. The
Yeah.
colors inside the logo, as it's not a random thing that they have
No.
designed it that. So
Everything is chosen on purpose. Yeah.
yeah, at what point does the design of the numbers and the letters come and affect us? Because also they tend to match sound, like the letter L with HELL. They try to, and also LEL, elders. Like all
Yeah.
this sounds mixed up in a negative way, which living in hell is not very good. But
No.
also you have elders that can teach, and it's the same sound. Like, why
Yeah.
do all this mix up? I know we are all mixed up on earth,
Yeah. I mean,
but
because
is
when
that,
those words are made, for example, when the word hell is made, it is made with thought. Okay, it's understood like that. El is the energy that turning, and her was
yeah,
a sound, which was like when people are having a shock, or when people like people go like that, like when they are under duress
yeah,
and that kind of thing. So that her sound comes out, that her sound is the sound of that, and that energy going in that direction is called hell. Okay. So right, like because el is just the energy direction, E is a turning energy, and L is a turning, like energy turning towards where, like where is defined by H for that her state where you will be in an anxious, that kind of state, all the time. So it is a well thought out energy, that thing, so why hell means hell is there is a reason for that, and that is inherent in that word, you know so so the beings which made that knew what they are doing. Like, they're not like people who don't know what they're doing,
Same like
yeah.
the another one that comes to me, it's the letter S, for the spine, for the also you find it in the word shopping, but isn't it what humans do? They go hopping from store to store with their
Many.
spine.
S
Like,
always means
that's the
many.
kind of thing that I see when I look at words.
Yeah, S always means many. So like in shopping, it will be many hopping, right? Many. You'll go to many stores, like
Hopping.
hopping
Like, oh,
from one to the
oops.
other, like so many. S is always like when you put in front of things, it means many. It's apple, one, and apples means many. S always makes everything
Uh,
from one to many. You know, like there's not one with S. S always is just proof many, many. That's the meaning of S. Like whether like if word, if you say word and then you put S in front of it, you get sword. Okay,
yeah.
many word,
Yeah,
which give a
sword.
certain kind
That's
of
it.
a feeling. Like if somebody says swear words, S means swear words to somebody, then other person feels like they're like hitting them with a knife. It's the same effect as you would, so they call the cuss words S words, which is like swords, and they feel like a sword is going.
Anyway,
Yeah,
our next session,
yeah,
yeah, our I don't know. It's cutting off sometime. I see
yeah.
the
It's
the,
cutting.
the,
Like
the,
his
the
net
feed
is
is
slightly
cutting
low.
off. Maybe that's why we don't talk at the same time.
Yes,
But yeah, next session we will explore a bit more like the letter A, B, and some words associated with those letters that are
yes,
significant. I'm not saying
yes,
that they're all
yes,
significant, probably, but we're not gonna
yes,
look at
yes.
every word with the letter
Significant.
A. It's get
Yes, yes,
we're gonna
yes.
be here all
Significant in their own way.
10 years now, but
Yeah. Yes,
yeah. We'll do our best to cover the most important words with each letters, like in
yes,
the English alphabet, of course, we're
yes,
talking about. But yet, large up PT again for your presence here, full presence and power. Always, that's
yes,
what we are in,
yes,
and that's it. Large up, everyone. Also watching live, and we will be here next Wednesday again, definitely. So
yes.
stay tuned. We're out. Boom.